we owe you an apology. The World Cup has been going on for over 3 weeks, and we're just now doing our catch up episode. In our defense, there has been a lot to catch up on. Messi breaking records, Mbappe making history, Germany going home, Egypt still standing, Norway. Haaland, my boy. They eliminated Brazil today, and England surviving the Azteca. And the bet, Spain versus France. Both teams are still alive, and it's still very much on. This is Disputed episode 11 on SportsTalk Media HQ. We're going to get you up to speed very, very quickly. Let's go.
I told you. France has been absolutely sensational. I remember I told you.
I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you.
In episode 10. Let's get into it.
I'll give it to you. You are spot on. Subscribe, comment, so you don't miss our next episode that's coming up. Now, let's start with Spain. We have to start there. Spain, what number 2 per the latest FIFA rankings? European champions. They are my pick to win the whole thing. They were held goalless by Cape Verde, right? That shocked me. That was back day one. That really shocked me. A nation of 600,000 people making their World Cup debut. Their goalkeeper, Bozena, became an overnight sensation. 80,000 followers became 4 million after that game. And before anyone says anything, Spain recovered. They beat Saudi Arabia 4-0 in match day 2, won the group, and topped Group H with 7 points. But that Cape Verde game, I will never forget it. I will never forget it. I will
never forget it. For completely different reasons, though.
Look, I know you kind of rubbed it on me a little bit, but I'll give it to you.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the greatest World Cup story, ever told. You have your Messi hat trick. He got the hat trick against Algeria in match day 1. He drew level close to Murla's Closer. Yeah, Closer for the all-time World Cup record with 16 goals at the time. Then the record breaker against Austria on match day 2 gave him 17. Then more again in the knockout stages, taking him to 20, like 20 World Cup record.
That's insane.
All-time, undisputed right now, surpassing Closey. At 39, because his birthday was actually, during the World
tournament,
Cup, during the tournament on the 24th. He's still the best player, as we speak. Argentina topped Group J with 9 points, having won every game in so far. And now they face Egypt in the round of 16. Messi's last dance is not over yet, and and then of course I've got my guy.
Come on, don't go there.
Mbappe,
Don't go there.
my
Come
team
on.
talisman. He got a brace against. I remember I was saying I thought Senegal was going to put up a fight, against France, but he got a brace on match day 1. It was almost like, you know what? We have to avenge, like our heroes past. That made him actually the France's all-time leading goal scorer with his second goal at that game. He's 58th for France. He has not overtaken Giroud, as the all-time goal scorer for France. France also won every group game. 3-1 against Senegal, 3-0 against Iraq, 4-1 against Norway.
That was a full team, though. That was a full Norway team, to be honest.
Yeah, but you have to play. You have to play what's in front of you.
Yeah, I get it.
And then in the round of 32, 2 goals against Sweden, a game that France won 3-0. That brace made him the all-time, no debate, leading goal scorer in the World Cup knockout matches as in not even like in the knockout matches in the World Cup, Kylian is not like, the leading goal scorer. And, yesterday, they actually, they beat Paraguay, even though Paraguay played all, they were like anti-football throughout, but Kylian Mbappe still had a say in that game. So we're talking about 6 games, 6 wins. France are now through to the quarterfinal stages. They've been clinical, they've been dominant, and they're unstoppable.
I couldn't agree with you, Les. I think you laid everything out there, 100%. And I can't argue that with you. But let's talk about what happened today. England. That was a nervy match. It was exciting but nervy. Like I was scared for England. Like when the record happened, I was like, could they survive this? Honestly. But let's talk about their tournament so far for England. Croatia 4-2. That was a good opener. Kane with a brace. Bellingham scoring straight after halftime. Rashford stealing it for them. The goalless draw with Ghana in match day 2, but they won the group with 2-0 win over Panama. Round of 32, 2-1 against DR Congo, which I thought was a good match too. I thought Congo showed up too, in my opinion. They could have won that game.
They did.
No. That was another nervy match, but they went through. And tonight, I think we're going to talk about that later today. Tonight was something that deserves some of his own segment a little bit. And then you remember in episode 10, I thought about Egypt being one of my African pick. They're still standing. They are. And I've been very impressed so far. Even though they came third behind Group G, Belgium, who were the leaders, they were very good. They beat New Zealand 3-1 in match day 2. They drew with Iran. They snuck through as one of the best third place teams. In the round of 32, Australia 1-1 after extra time, and they won 4-2 on penalties. Imam, that was a group, but the same player who scored that stunning opener against Belgium, I think is having a fantastic tournament so far. I think it's been very consistent in their games. Mo Salah has contributed, but it's been a team effort for Egypt so far. Mamouche, who plays for City, I'd like to see more of it. I'd like to see him show up more. I think it's been okay, but I would like to kind of see him help more because he's younger.
I've not seen Mamouche. I'm sorry.
That's been there. So, but it was going to be interesting. Now, Argentina is playing against Egypt. Messi and Salah. So you can argue that Messi is probably one of the greatest players in his generation. No, there's an argument for him being the GOAT. That's a different debate for a different time. Against who I consider the best African player of his generation, Mo Salah. Mo Salah has been fantastic. It's been great.
The Egyptian king.
Tuesday in Atlanta. I cannot wait. But before we continue, though, I gotta say something that I said in episode 10 that I'm not happy about right now. But that was pick. Germany, they are done. They are gone. What happened to them in that match? I'm still wrapping my head around that match. It started brilliantly. It's a 7-1 against the Krakow, their first game. They won the group. Round of 32 against Paraguay. They toughed 90 minutes. What happened? The header. They thought they had won it. But sorry, VAR ruled it a foul on the goalkeeper. VAR in this World Cup, I know it's been okay, but I don't know whether I like VAR right now. Maybe when the cause doesn't favor me, maybe I kind of feel a bit bitter, a little bit. But again, VAR is VAR, rules are rules, so I'm not gonna even argue about that fact. But then penalties, can't have it, your guy. He went first. Like, what was he thinking? I don't know. I thought he could have done better, and I'll probably let you judge that. He was the Champions League hero, even though now you guys didn't pull through. Sorry, I didn't mean to kind of rub that on you. I didn't mean to do that, to be honest. So, pardon me a little bit for that. But it means the first penalty for Germany, and even I think what's his name, Jurgen Klopp, he said on Magenta TV, he's working for them as a pundit. He said he was furious, and it was like, here was his exact words. I'm going to quote it. He said, if that goal is illegal, then Arsenal won't be English champions. they've scored 60% of their goals that way. A dig at Arsenal's set piece record, Glow. What are your thoughts on that?
Klopp can say whatever he likes. I smell jealousy. Sometimes when you want to overstate things or exaggerate things, you tend to lie. Arsenal, the number of goals Arsenal scored from set pieces were just 35%. But then he had to extrapolate and he made it 60%. So that's his first lie. So who cares? Arsenal are the English Premier League champions. And Havertz scored the opener in Budapest. You know, so what is he trying to say? The set piece works. People are trying to emulate Arsenal on set pieces. Even England is depending on the Arsenal players now to pull them out through set pieces.
By the
You
way,
know,
I'm with you.
that's
Goals are
not
goals.
yeah.
I don't
That's
care how
not
you score your
cheating.
goal. Forget
That's
about
not
it.
cheating. I don't know
So
why he had to dig.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
Goals are goals.
why did he have to dig Arsenal in a World Cup game when some of the players playing for Germany, at least one of the German main stars plays for Arsenal? Why would he have to, make that dig? That just tells you that he was looking for the very first moment to show his true colors. It's just jealous. And Arsenal didn't cheat to win the Premier League. It's called coaching. Germany, well, I'm sorry, they went home. Sadly, I thought they were going to be in the World Cup for longer, but they've gone home.
Okay.
Cold comfort for Nagelsmann.
And quickly,
Yeah.
before we go to the next round quickly, I want to ask everyone comment. Which group stage or round 32 results shocked you the most? Please put in the comments. So let's go.
Yeah. Another thing is, going into another big nation that we thought we're going to, still stay on. And then sometimes when what you say before a championship can spur a team on. Van der Vaart went out and said, "Oh, some players that could have been playing for Netherlands that couldn't get into the Netherlands team are now playing for Morocco." But then we got the biggest shock, because Morocco actually took out the Netherlands, and that was the standout result of the round of 32. At least for me, Morocco who were brilliant. They were brilliant in 2022 by reaching the semifinals, the first African nation to reach semifinals. They were at it again. They drew the Netherlands. Scoreline was 1-1, even after extra time. Then on to penalties. Morocco won the penalty 3-2. The Netherlands, Van Dijk, De Jong, Dumfries, they're gone out of the World Cup. I'm still miffed at the fact that Van Dijk did not step in for any of the penalties. I'm shocked. I really, he's the captain. He should have taken responsibilities, in my opinion. Africa has now produced two giant killings in the knockout stage alone.
Yeah.
Morocco are into the round of 16 against France side of the bracket. They could be coming for France, even though I still feel my prediction, France is still going to hold.
Yeah, of course, Morocco now definitely with their win now. Obviously, now they're on to that next round. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah. So for me, Argentina Cape Verde, I think to me that was the most dramatic game of the round of 32 for me. Yeah, the team that has Spain 0-0 in the group stage, country of 600,000 people. Messi scored in the 29th minute. Cape Verde equalized. Extra time. Argentina went ahead again. Cape Verde equalized again. At the 103rd minute. But here's what kind of, when I look at the game overall, I kind of felt that Cape Verde didn't attack until they go behind. That's one thing I kind of noticed in the game. Like, they defend, then somebody scores them, then they attack. I felt it they had kept their attacking very consistent. Who knows what will happen? And look at what happened. Eventually, Argentina got a winner. Initially credited to Romero, changed to a Cape Verde own goal, 3-2 in extra time. Cape Verde are gone, but what a story they've told at this World Cup. They were impressive, in my opinion.
So I think that was hands down the best game or the most dramatic, just like you mentioned, game Cape Verde really represented, and they actually, they came out and they gave a lot of people joy, and I'm really happy for them. I really wish they could still, they were still in the tournament, but well, but I think one of the best thrillers, and the most, I don't know how to explain that game, but it was a thriller of the round of 32. You have to give it to Belgium versus Senegal, or is it Senegal versus Belgium? That was a crazy, crazy game. Senegal, for me, how they lost that game is something that I don't even know how to explain. Belgium were down 2-0, 2-0 with 5 minutes of normal time remaining. They were out.
Yeah,
They were out
they were
until
gone. They were
Lukaku,
done.
who came off the bench, you know, actually scored one in the 86th minute. Lukaku, the old man is still alive.
It's still good, I
You know,
guess.
he scored in the 86th minute. You would have thought that um, Senegal will still, with just a few minutes to go, will be able to hold on. But no, in the very, was it in the 89th minute of normal time, Belgium tied the game after 90 minutes. It was the shock of my life. It was almost like I couldn't believe what was going on. And then deep into extra time, in the 120th minute, almost plus 5 minutes, Tillemans went down under a challenge, silly challenge, because that game would have gone into penalties easily. They had
Yeah.
messed up in normal time, and then they brought this silliness. For me, they just couldn't control that game, and they brought it into extra time. Take it into penalties, and anything could happen. Then obviously the penalty, even though I felt that common sense should have prevailed at that point in time, but penalty was given.
Was it a penalty?
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I
France
don't
are
even know,
penalties.
but the thing is, if you put yourself in a situation whereby you compromise your team, it's very easy, because it's, giving penalties is whether or not and everything, but you don't want to put yourself in that kind of situation when you had already messed up. Now push it and see where you can go, because Senegal was really, really good in this game until the 86th minute, which is crazy. Then, of course, and that was kind of like the latest goal in a World Cup game in history. The
Yeah,
very
that late.
latest goal. That very, very late, because they could have easily gone into penalties. Then, of course, Belgium scored the penalties. Tillemans took it and scored it. 3-2. To tell you how dramatic that game was, I think Trossard and one of his teammates, they were even arguing. They were having some, because in their minds, they had lost the game. But then, what happened? Belgium scored the penalty and won 3-2. And then that just gives, like, it was like one of the greatest comebacks in World Cup history. Belgium are now through to face the US on Monday.
Yeah. But yeah, quickly, because we kind of talk about that. I know we're going to talk about that a little bit later. You know, I know everyone wants US to win, and we all do. But look at the latest rankings. Belgium are a top 10 team. But they didn't look that good. What they've played so far, but now they are top 10.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But
And that's
they're
why
a
you
top
don't
10
give
team.
that kind of that's why you don't give that kind of
Yeah,
opportunity to a team who could
yeah,
rise,
yeah. They're a top
anytime.
10 team. They're very good.
Exactly. You don't play that kind of game. And the funniest thing was that Senegal could have even made it 3-0, just after Senegal, were supposed to have been 3-0 up. Belgium went the other way and scored that first goal. And then the whole thing, I think they just every one of them just, it's almost like they just unraveled, in my opinion. So before we go on, we want you to, tell us who has been the surprise package of this World Cup so far. Please drop your comments below. The big news today.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, no. Don't get me started. Kick us off.
Two,
Go ahead.
two massive results today.
Yeah, it
You
was.
know, and I want to give. I want us to give both these games, the time they truly deserve. And then I'll start. I'll start with what happened to Brazil?
Well, you could be surprised. I picked Norway to win, so I don't know about you. You were
You know,
surprised, so
for
go for it.
me,
Go for
for
it.
me, honestly, what I said, I said this. I said, oh, of course, Helen Haaland will score, but I didn't think that Norway would have the defense to be able to stop the array of attackers of Brazil. Even though I know that Brazil so far has not really entertained, but I just felt as they've come in, as they've come in, and they've gotten this far in the tournament that they'll be at least. I do not know where to start with Brazil. I don't know where to start. They are the five-time world champions.
No,
Carlo Ancelotti's side. They felt that they had not done. They gave this team to Carlo Ancelotti. They were one of the favorites to win the whole tournament. Even though I don't know why.
right. I don't know who's picking
I
them
really do.
though.
I don't. Well, I felt
No,
that. I felt that. Come on. But they were eliminated by Norway. Norway. Do you know the last time Norway was in the World Cup?
you
They
get
were
Haaland.
eliminated.
Oh, you have Haaland. I didn't think of that one.
Eliminated by
Sorry,
Norway.
man.
2-1. Erling Haaland with two late goals. Two late goals. That header in the 79th minute, I don't know. I really don't know. The first thing I asked was because the first thing I asked was what was Gabriel, and I was shocked that he actually nodded that ball with Gabriel just behind him. If so, but Gabriel actually knows Ireland more than that. I think he should have been tighter, at least with the head. But he almost had a free header in the 79th minute. Then that powerful low shot in the 90th minute. I felt for Allison because at the end of the day, it was almost like Allen was dishing it to everybody. And no, honestly, I can tell you, Norway's keeper today, Neyland, he was absolutely heroic because he saved a Bruno Guimaraes penalty early on in the first half, which I don't even understand how. For all the Vinny is the attacker. I would have expected that Vinny would take that penalty, but Bruno, who is not a shabby player himself, he took it, and his penalty was saved. And then he also made several outstanding stops in this game.
Well,
Neymar came off the
it
bench.
did.
Neymar came off the bench. In my opinion, I don't know why Neymar was at this World Cup.
Come on.
I really don't know why Neymar
This
was
is
at
this is
this
the
World
last
Cup.
round. You gotta
But
give it
I
to him.
tell you one thing, I think that slot was wasted. I keep saying I go back to Jao Pedro should have been taken to the World Cup. Jao Pedro would have had at least some fight. And I think Carlo Ancelotti gave up on Thiago too too soon. He played the first game. This guy is just coming in to join the group. He played the first game, but then what happened? It took him up, and I haven't seen Thiago since then. You know, Neymar came in. What did he do? Just to get a consolation penalty, and he was and time was actually running out, but it was there. Got the penalty instead of him to Harry as the elder statesman. Harry, your team, he was still dwelling on the penalty that he scored. You know, now I heard that he's actually announced his retirement. You
Yeah,
know,
after the World Cup. Yeah, this
yeah,
is
that was
last.
his last. That's his last ever kick in a World Cup. Sadly, Brazil are out for the sixth consecutive tournament. They've been eliminated by a European side. It is sad, honestly, sad situation. Even no, even Brazil has not even played like Brazil.
Yeah, but you gotta look at the other thing. I don't think they started at this World Cup. If you look at the last tournament also, they haven't really done much. In my opinion, I don't think the Brazilian teams of the past few years are as great as the
No, no,
Romarios,
no, 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 not
the
close.
guys we
No,
knew.
no, no, no.
But
Don't do that.
let's be clear about what Norway has just done. This is the greatest result in Norwegian football history.
Oh yeah.
Their first ever World Cup quarterfinals. right? In 28 years since the last qualified. But what did they do? They beat around Haaland, who I believe, like I was telling someone recently about pure number nines, and Harry Kane has done, an amazing job this past year. His goal scoring is just incredible. But if I'm picking the like top pure number nine, is Haaland, Harry Kane. I might say Haaland first because he's younger. Haaland is that guy is little, and he now has 7 goals in this tournament. Joint top scorer with Messi and Mbappe, right? And your boy Odegaard pulling the strings. I'm sure you're happy about that. Odegaard is on the team too. He's pulling the string. Norway never lost to Brazil across 5 meetings, and now they're beating them on the biggest stage in football.
That's crazy.
Haaland is having a generational World Cup. But here's the challenge, though. They're going to be facing England in Miami on July 11. 2 of my teams again. I haven't made my pick yet, but about it, I'm gonna have to kind of think about it and see what we're going to support. But 2 of my teams are going to play again. I don't know what. Norway, England. It's going to be very interesting. But let's talk about what England did today. 3-2 against Mexico. 10 men at the Azteca. Mexico doesn't lose in that stadium. We all know that. That's one of the most iconic stadiums in world football. It is 7,000 Mexicans. The altitude. Everything was stacked against England. And they won 3-2. Bellingham with a brace in the first half. Clinical, brilliant. Exactly what you want from one of your best players on the biggest occasion. Kane with a penalty after the break. And then Kwanzaa was sent off and at the 54th minute. That Kwanzaa foul, I understand. No, that was kind of unfortunate because, like, the way rules are rules, to be honest, because he got the ball, but the star went up, the player came against that same. It's like, well, I don't know. I wish referees could probably just use their judgment a little bit of time. Again, rules are rules. The star was up against someone, because of injuries, I understand what they are doing. And now, Mexico put one back on. And then England are only the 3rd team in history to beat Mexico in a competitive match at the Azteca. It's tough to win that place. And I thought Tuchel did a great job of the subs he made. I thought that was good. And now, Norway in Miami, my 2 teams against each other. I don't know who I want to win right now, but I don't know. I got to figure it out, man. I don't know who I want to win right now, but 2 of my teams, so it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
You have to say that word again. England survived the Azteca with 10 men.
Azteca, that was tough. Azteca is a tough place to win.
Today I said England went into the belly of the devil and they survived. That tells you everything about Tuchel's team spirit. I tell you one thing. That team today, that made them, I don't even know, that made them like 7 feet tall because of what? Because they were the fouls the Mexicans were it was almost like it was UFC. The fouls that they were dishing out, they did not allow the English
and there was
players.
no card. They didn't get no cards.
I think they only got one.
Maybe they got 2. I think they got another one again later.
Towards the end, and that was more because of.
I think maybe they got 2 to them.
I think that was
I have to check the stat again. Maybe they got 2 to them. I have to check the stats. But
of all the fouls that they were committing today, one thing that I would even tell you today, I was so impressed by Declan Rice.
No, first he picked the first yellow within 2 minutes.
Within 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
And Declan Rice was on that pitch
throughout, and they played well.
And he played, put in good crosses, stopped a lot of shots because towards the end he was the last 15 or so minutes was attack versus defense.
Defense, yeah, for the most part.
I don't know if you remember that shot that was hit. That Declan Rice actually.
That was tough. You were like,
the ball flew. I don't know how far. That tells you the man that Declan is. He's done this so many times for Arsenal in Champions League games. You go like, oh my God, Deck is on a yellow card. He's on, and he will finish that game.
And I
So
think the coach even trusted
the
him. That was why
trust,
he left him.
the
That was
trust
left in
that
the
the
game.
coach had
In him, yeah.
for him, because Declan Rice have picking up that yellow card very, very quickly actually changed the way England played. I'm so sorry. Because he had that yellow card, there was no control. Because normally what he does is get the ball, like intercept balls and redistribute immediately. He couldn't do that because I'm sure at the back of his mind he kept thinking, I can't afford to get another yellow card.
Card, yeah.
And he played without any other issues throughout the game, you know. But Norway and Ireland next. That is a completely different challenge. This would for Ireland is almost like I'm playing back in the Premiership, and the Premiership already knows
Yeah.
what
He
type
play
of.
against
I'm telling you,
one of his
I'm
defenders.
telling you,
Gay,
the
gay.
English players, the English players have to sleep from now till Wednesday.
He scored against Pickford a few
I'm
times.
te-
It's
and
gonna be
Pickford,
interesting.
of course, he knows Pickford. Pickford knows him. I'm hoping, but because every defender in England have to be ready, have to be alert, because Alan doesn't have to touch the ball too many times. But when he gets that ball, that is left foot does the talking. England centre backs will have nightmares, I can tell you, about Ireland this week. Ha, this quarterfinal is going to be extraordinary. I wish them all the best. I'm still, yeah, I'm still behind. I'm right behind them. I hope they do it because you'll be very good coming from having played 10 men down. I think that card Kwanzaa got that card about 50 something
Fourth,
minutes,
54th, 54th
54th
minute.
minute,
Yep.
and they were able to navigate the whole situation. That was excellent from
Okay.
the boys.
Cool. Okay. England versus Norway in Miami. Who wins? Drop your comment. Put in your comment or prediction in the comments and let's see what you think. Now, before we go ahead and talk about and wrap things up, let's kind of talk about what happened in the last episode, right? We had a bet. We can change it to what we want. Okay? I guess let's give ourselves our freedom to change it. So I pick Spain to win. You pick France to win. Loser wears the winner's shirt on camera. And right now, both Spain and France are through to the quarterfinals. But to be honest, your France are dominant. I don't know what to say. They're dominant. My Spain, who were number one in the world pre-tournament, not number two in the world. I don't know, man. They're not looking good right now. Like, at least the level of game I expected from Spain is I'm not getting right now. And on Monday in Dallas, they'll play against Portugal. Ronaldo, CR7, who I love so much now. Again, the two of my teams have played each other again. And of course, I picked Spain to win anyway, so I guess I'll have to Spain in that one. So if Spain wins, they're going to be facing winner of Belgium versus USA.
Portugal
And if France, they're going to play Morocco, France-Morocco. If they win on Thursday, they're going to face that same half of the bracket. Could Spain and France meet in the semifinals or even the final? I don't know. Either way, our bet is very much alive. They're very much alive.
Remember we talked about this, that at some point Spain may face France.
Yeah.
But the way this World Cup has been going, most of our if we had a bracket, all our brackets are all scattered right now.
They're all broken right now.
The only people who are still keeping us in this whole situation is probably Argentina, Spain,
France,
England,
yeah,
France, those four teams are still the ones carrying our hopes. But France have won every single game in this World Cup. Everyone.
Okay.
Group stage, 3 wins. Round of 32, 3-0 against Sweden. Round of 16, 1-0 against Paraguay, who were just, I don't even understand the kind of football they played, but they were just there to, I'm not even sure if they wanted to win, but they just wanted to stop France from winning. But France still prevailed. 6 games, all wins. Mbappe has been unstoppable. The general. And I heard they call him Mobutu. Where he goes, his team follows. You know, he has been, honestly, for me, he has shown leadership.
Yeah,
He
he
has
has.
shown leadership,
I
and
give it to him.
I'm super proud of him. I remember I told you that Olise, don't count him out. He will be pulling the, and that Olise will
Yeah.
announce himself to the world. Olise has been brilliant, though he hasn't scored, but he is always involved in every good thing that France has done.
And they did, yeah.
I predicted that. Genuinely, he has been the engine that runs this French machine, the defense. You know, my boy. My
Saliba.
Rolls Royce, Saliba at the bar. You can't, no, as in, he's been immense. You can't penetrate their defense at all because Saliba is always there, calm, cool, collected. Nate, get that France shirt ready.
Well, not so fast. Glow, not so fast. Spain beat Austria 3-0 in round of 32. Yamal scored his first World Cup goal against Saudi Arabia. Spain is clicking. I think they are clicking. Portugal is now the team that stands between us and the quarterfinals, which, yes, is a massive game. But Spain beat Portugal in the UEFA Nations League final in 2025. We know how to handle them. The shirt stays in the wardrobe. Glow. Who wins the bet? Spain or France? Drop your prediction below and tell us who you think wins the World Cup. We want to hear from you. Now we have two more massive days in the round of 16. On Monday, Portugal and Spain, as we mentioned earlier, Ronaldo versus Jamal, the last dance of the old generation versus the new ones. No, I'm thinking a rival of the new, so Yamal, because I see Yamal being the leader of this new pack, but I know his health has been a challenge, so we see how things go. And again, US versus Belgium. Balogun's suspension was lifted by FIFA, so it's available for the Americans. So it's going to be playing tomorrow, so which is awesome. And Tuesday, Argentina versus Egypt in Atlanta. Messi versus Salah. Mo Salah versus Messi is going to be interesting. With the World Cup's all-time leading scorer against the greatest African player of his generation. And again, don't forget Switzerland, Colombia in Vancouver. 4 games, massive stakes. And we'll be back with our quarterfinal episode as soon as the bracket is set. We'll talk about that later. So it should be interesting.
Of course, France already through. They face Morocco on Thursday. They face them in Boston. I'm not worried. The shirt is staying in Nate's wardrobe.
Well, you found out about that.
Yeah, subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. And drop your full quarterfinal predictions in the comments right below and right now.
This is a World Cup catch-up. 3 weeks of football covered in under 40-45 minutes. Norway eliminated Brazil. England surviving the Azteca with 10 men. Spain still in. France still in. Germany out. Egypt still standing. Messi breaking records. Mbappe making history. Haaland announcing himself to the world. And the best is yet to come. Quarterfinals, semifinals, and then the final at MetLife on July 19. Subscribe so you don't miss our next episode. Leave your predictions in the comments. This is Disputed on SportsTalk Media HQ. We are back.
France, always France. See you in the quarters.
Spain, see you Monday. Subscribe, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.